Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Alright, so today essentially what I wanted to do was show another pre-beta showing of my OS. This time I've actually gotten the themes to stick as well as some of the settings, as well as I've added a couple of other programs to the system that were not initially there, which is great, especially when you want to make sure everything is sticking through as it should. So this time let's just go ahead, I'm going to launch it for you. In fact, you're going to get to see the login manager, which is great. I'm using currently the Slim login manager. It's very nice. I created the theme from another theme, just modified it heavily. Same thing I did essentially with the Midnight Commander theme. I just took a theme, heavily modified it so it would be my own theme, and then I was just like, here's my theme. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done. So at this time we're just going to let the system boot. Like I said, it is an Ubuntu based system, so you've got all that compatibility, and you're going to see some codes come up, and I'm thinking that's just because of VirtualBox. I'm really hoping it's because of VirtualBox, but you know what, I have no clue in all honesty. Right now it's just showing you the screen, blah blah blah. Okay, and here is my login manager. Very nice looking, I personally think. Right now, I actually also added some information regarding the password for the default user, just so that you can log in. So, I said password is Earth for user Earth. And so let's just go ahead and just type in that for a moment here. Click enter. By the way, it actually defaults to requesting for the password just because it selects by default the Earth user. You can, of course, click a enter key, and what will happen is the password will be denied, and then it will request for the username again, and then you can just go through and enter your other username. At this time, as you see, it's basically the same thing. Background is the Earth, but as you'll see something here, it's no longer pasty white up here for the clock, which is awesome sauce. And so that's great. That's definitely nice. You've also got, actually some of the rest of the sections here. This is actually now sticking to the settings I had for what I want it to be when you initially start the OS. If you remember when I did the pre-beta showing, this is part 2 anyway, if you remember the part 1, it basically just had a ugly little button standing there, for XFCE menu, right? Now it's actually showing you the appropriate scheme of how I want everything to work. So you've got, your clock and then the window switcher between it. Now, moving on over here, if you bring your mouse up to the top left, you'll see I've got the default menu. It's going to have the sound, and then of course it's going to have your main menu. And of course that is actually a creeper face. I know, lame, but whatever. It's nice. I actually created that creeper face, the icon image anyway. I went through, just used GIMP and made it, so I was like, what the hell. Anyway, so as you guys may remember, actually though, previously when I ran Terminal Emulator, it was actually Xterm as the terminal. It's actually kept the settings for what I wanted it to do, which is use the Terminator. And mind you, Terminator was actually not installed either, so at the time. So it actually now is using the appropriate terminal when you run it. So that is now it's going to launch Terminator, and it actually has the transparent background. If you don't trust me, I'll just bring up something else, to show you that I have the background here. Let's see here. Click open. Shoot, something lightweight, quick, LeafPad. So, boom, LeafPad in the, well, that did fail, but basically LeafPad in the background, it's transparent terminals, so that's awesome sauce. Anyway, wanted to show you this, guys, is actually I also set some of the settings for the terminal look and feel. It's using the blue text, so, if you do ls or something, you're going to get blue output and all that, which is great. Very quickly, I would also like to mention, Midnight Commander looks as it should, which is awesome. This is the theme, like I said, that I created. I actually, when I did the review for Midnight Commander, showed you guys my theme. Went through, I actually added it to this system. So now you have a pretty transparent background with a very pretty file manager for Midnight Commander. We also, of course, have SpaceFM as the file manager, so you can use the GUI version or the terminal version. I use Midnight Commander for Stagerm when I launched those terminals, and so this is just an application that we can use. So I'm just going to launch also Nitrogen here. Finally, the Nitro GN auto tabbing completion doesn't work within the menu thing, but you of course have the terminal still available here. So when I type in Nitrogen, I actually managed to finally have it look at the appropriate folder for where the background images are going to be located. And as you see, we have a nice wide array of selections for the background here, at least a decent selection here. Very pretty, most of it being spacey related, but some of it being computer related, and then just others like being abstract in relation. So we have some decent, pictures for the backgrounds. If I go ahead and set that, I can apply the background, and boom, it's changed it in the back. If I set it for this one, we can click apply, and it's going to change it in the back. And so we also actually applied the theme for the primary login screen as well as a background option. So anyway, going back to the default background that you get, I'm just going to close it down. I just wanted to show you guys that is now working, which is awesome sauce. And of course, when you close it out, it brings you back to your menu here. Let's see, what else do I want to show here? I mean, like I said, I managed to keep the themes. So here, as you see, I've got the notepad up here, and leaf pad up here, and it's of course now no longer ugly and white. It's got that nice dark gray with the blue theming in it. Actually, it's gray text when you type it in, but either way, my point being, it's really good looking. I have some intentions of actually trying to do a welcome screen where a leaf pad will launch, and then of course go through and show you all the pretty factors that things that you can do with it. Quickly, I wanted to just show you guys HTOP, just to show you the default runnings. I probably bumped up a little bit here. It's still actually around 130 to 129 megs in usage, which is really good for the system. It was around like 119. Mind you, now applying the themes and everything, it is going to run at a little bit higher RAM rate there, but it's still very minimalistic and still very pretty, as you guys can tell. So if I press Q here, I just wanted to show you guys that. What else do I want to show you here? Oh yeah, let's see here. If I'm going to do Control, I think it was L or P or U. Okay, I don't remember what it was. Maybe hide, Q. Okay, we're gonna quit Midnight Commander for now. There was a key combination that would actually bring up the forefront of the terminal, but it's not showing it as I recall it. But anyway, so clearing out the terminal here, I wanted to show you Xbind keys here. This is going to be the default selection. When you type in Xbind keys tag config into the terminal and you click enter, it will launch the Xbind keys settings manager, where you can manage your bindings of the keys. And I've already got a pre-selection of keys set up here, so oh, that's why I wasn't doing it in the system here. Okay, so I do need to add some binded keys regarding the Stagerm, but I actually have Stagerm bind keys set up within the AutoStart file. Never mind, forget it. I was going to say something different, but never mind, forget it. So anyway, you can launch i3 Lock. What i3 Lock is essentially, it's a Windows locker. So if you press the Windows key, L key, it's going to lock the screen. And in fact, I actually need to manage the theme for this. But type in the password, EARTH, actually that was a G, H, click enter, it unlocks the screen. So that's nice there. Of course, you've got some options for launching Firefox quickly as well. So this has been set up as well to run. Some of these key combinations don't work as they should, like for instance, Windows key plus S key. The reason I think that it doesn't work, at least, is because I'm running in a virtual environment, and so it's not detecting it appropriately when I launch Windows key plus S key to shut it down. So Windows key plus S key will shut it down. Windows key plus R key will reboot the system. At least it will request for the prompt and all that. Anyway, and so continuing on here, that's that. You get to see lovely errors in the terminal. I need to find possibly a way to do some like redirections or something like that will null it out, the errors, but I'm not certain. Continuing on, I did add some other options here. For instance, the music player. I didn't have that installed to begin with. I should have. It was supposed to be in the package or pre-beta showing, but I didn't. And that is Dead Beef. And Dead Beef actually has the theme I set for it, which is great. So this is the layout I have for my music video, and I really like it. The default layout is kind of ugly and not very pretty, and it's very simplistic. Mind you, of course, I like simplistic. It's just, it looks a lot better in this manner. So, album information comes up here. The music information comes up here. Album art comes up in this panel, and then of course a nice little kind of like little bumping up MIDI track file, something image manipulator thing pops up as well for here. So just so you can enjoy your music a little bit better. It plays. The reason why I actually chose this as the sound system or sound music player for the system is because it actually plays PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Game Boy Advance, and all those music files. So you can play a lot of the game console music files in the system as well. So if you have a collection of that and you don't have it in MP3, this will play it, as well as actually plays through compressed systems. So for instance, if you have a zip, for whatever reason, a zip archive of music, you can actually then just, it will read through the zip file and actually launch it. So it's really nice that way. Anyway, that's actually the only other addition I think I added. Oh yeah, I added ARandar, which is the screen management system for the OS. What it will do is if you have dual monitor displays, you can go to ARandar, excuse me, set the settings through there, and then tell the Xsession file to look to that settings script so that it will auto launch. And in fact, I may have I can show you guys exactly the auto launch system. So I've used, instead of a session manager, I'm just using Xsession. And so if you actually nano into nano.xsession, which is in your default home folder, it's going to show you the auto launch file here. And right now I've set it to launch Xcomp Manager, which is the compositing manager. I've set it up so VoLTE will auto launch, Xbind keys will auto launch, and of course the XFCE for panels and window manager will launch, plus the firewall here. And so this is basically the startup script and the startup session for your default system. You can of course go here to edit it, and so of course when you do have a session where you have dual screens and everything, and you use ARandar to create this shell script, all you have to go through here is add in a file and just be like exec ./ I don't know, ARandar // something default.sh, which would be this shell script that would launch it. I'm not going to add that setting to the system just because it won't go through, but hey, controlling X, we can just do N and close it out. Anyway, that really sums it up, guys. I mean, everything is looking great. Oh, I'm just going to quickly show you the file manager. I've not managed to get the file manager to keep its settings as it should, so yeah. It is what it is. So if you go to Space FM, this is the file manager. I've not managed it to go to the settings I want it to do, which is the default layout. I want it to be this, and essentially icon views for each, and actually this bottom one will have the tree view here. This is the default layout I want it to be, excluding the, of course, list view. It's going to be all icon view, so just give you an idea of that icon. Go to view, go to style, and then of course icons, and then of course here view, style, icons. Hello. And that failed again. I've tried this before the video and it's not been going through. Okay, and this is supposed to be roughly the default view. Mind you, of course, it's going to be a little bit bigger. I'm currently just recording on a tiny screen so that it will look a little bit better, but basically this is going to be the default view when you try to launch it. At least I'm trying to get it to do that. I've just not located the settings information for Space FM to where I can actually save it for them. So it's in work in progress. I also want to create an install script so that it will actually install the OS to your hard drive. At this time, like I said previously, this only works as a live system. So it is what it is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's just an update to my OS. We've gotten the theme management going through, the compositing management has gone through. Like I said, I've shown you some of my ideas of what I want to do. I want to quickly mention, what I want to do is when we are in the live OS, I want actually LeafPad to auto launch, and it'll say something like, welcome, and it's going to give you some instructions like, oh, I really messed that up, WELC. OME, God, I messed that up so bad. Anyway, it will say something like welcome and give you instructions on how to install, give you some instructions and quick tips on terms of how to use the OS to your fullest potential and its fullest potential. And I'm still working on that. It's really going to be simple to implement. It's just I need to go through and create the informational file for that and just save it to the ISO, and then of course use Xsession to auto launch it when it boots up. And so really that sums it up, guys. Let's just go one more time, show you here HTOP, just so that you can see it. It's still hovering around at 130 megs of RAM. And I have been considering, by the way, changing out the the web browser to Google Chrome, or excuse me, Chromium, which is of course a derivative of Google Chrome. But the thing is, I've just not yet committed, mainly because I really like Firefox, even though Firefox doesn't come pre-built with Flash Player built into the system. That was the main reason why I was actually almost considering going with Google Chrome, is because Google Chrome already has the appropriate Flash plugins installed, and so you can of course just auto launch it and boom, be good to go. And so I don't have to install, it's installing one less file, which, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, that really sums it up in terms of the system information here. You know, I'd just like to do a, you know, just thank you guys for watching. You know, please rate, subscribe, tell me what you think. Give me some ideas for what I can do to improve the OS. You know, I'm always looking for ideas to just make it a little bit better. You know, I really like the layout of this. It's now set up to what it should be here. You know, with the default pane view and the panels popping up to the left and right here. There's nothing located on the bottom left or bottom right. It's just set up to be very simplistic and very minimalistic, at least in terms of just look, but it's supposed to be very pretty, and I really think that this is a very beautiful kind of system with its settings having been applied as is. So, you know, I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. What I'm thinking about doing is actually launching the system right now so that you guys can just use the live version of this OS, and then later down the road, as I'm editing it and everything, you know, I will just release updates to the system so that, you know, if I get an installer set up, you'll be able to enjoy that installation option as well. But anyway, you know, if I do choose to do it, all you gotta just do is just look through my what is it? It's part of YouTube. It's the Documents viewer. Oh, About section. Just look through the About section. When you watch this video, if I've decided to launch this system, I'll actually post a link to the Dropbox folder in my on my hard drive, and from there, you know, you guys can just excuse me, not Dropbox, Google Box, or, you know, Google's Dropbox thing. Google's Drive, the Google Drive folder. I'll post a link to it so that you guys can just, you know, click on it, and then from there it will automatically begin downloading for you. Okay, so just, you know, keep an eye out for that if I do decide to do that. I'm not promising anything just yet. I'm still on the fence about it, but, you know, once I post the video live, I'll decide then and there whether or not I wish to do it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Please rate, subscribe, tell me what you think, give me some suggestions, and I will talk to you guys later.